cast and crew. I always do, especially this show, because everybody works so hard on the show. There's lots of teamwork involved, and the energy was high, and it was very warm and cozy, and it was really fun. Even though it was just the musical theater classes show, it was wonderful. Everyone works extremely hard.
The cast and the crew for James and the Giant Peach were definitely beyond amazing. So this is my first year of musical theater, and honestly I can say this cast and crew for the show is honestly one of the best combinations of cast and crew that I've ever worked with. And I mean, we all came together as a great unit and as a great family to make this show as successful as it was.
This year's cast and crew were a super fun bunch it was a big learning experience for everyone. Everyone was super dedicated, we had a lot of new people, and it was just really fun to watch them grow into their parts and just learn about how the theater works.
I loved both the cast and the crew. I feel like we did a really good job. And the crew especially did phenomenal with making the peach and making props such as the sharks, which had to be changed at the last moment. But they adapted well, and I really appreciate that.
I feel like the cast and crew of James and the Giant Peach were super helpful and just really on top of it, because you could see the crew and the costume crew running around with safety pins pinned to their jeans and people with paint all over their face, and you could hear the sounds of drilling from the back room almost during every rehearsal. I just really think that the crew worked so well with the cast and with the scenery to make the show really come together. As for the cast, I feel like they're a super supportive community. I'm a freshman, so when I came in, I was new and I didn't really know what was going on, but everybody there just really welcomed me with open arms and made me feel like part of the community.
I was really impressed by the cast and crew at James and the Giant Peach. The high school level is just so much more than the middle school. It's kind of amazing. This is my first high school production, and just kind of how fast people worked and how efficient they were and how much dedication they kind of showed to the show. It was just on a whole other level. I liked all the crew members and all the cast members. I really enjoyed all of them. And I really think I made a lot of friends.
There were lots of challenges. For me, it was finding my intention for my character and learning the lines as if I was my character.
Yeah, there were definitely a lot of challenges to overcome in the production of James and the Giant Peach. And I mean, one of the overall challenges that we had to face was probably the timing, because from what I've heard, we had less time to make James and the Giant Peach as opposed to other musicals in the past, and that was sort of hectic, as far as, the music and the staging and costumes and props went, and that was sort of hectic, but I think we were able to pull that off.
There were definitely a lot of challenges for cast and crew and pit alike. As on the crew, I had a lot of trouble with the shark puppets, and with the peach was definitely interesting to make. It took a lot of hard work.
There were some challenges in the beginning, though. Everybody wasn't really putting their all towards it, but in the end we did, and it turned out to be a very good production and a very good show.
Some of the challenges, though, that doing cast and crew can present is sometimes people don't really know what they're doing because they've never done a show before, or they're just new in general to musical theater.
I think my biggest challenge was learning the vocal parts and the lines for Earthworm, and probably all the insects had problems with that. But otherwise, it was just like changes and stuff that happens that affects it affected our time frame pretty much for the musical itself.
There definitely were some challenges, time being one of them. The whole show was under super constrictive time crunch, and because we're a class, we can only rehearse from 50 to 90 minutes a day. So that time restraint, I feel like, played a big factor into our feelings about how ready the show was.
I think that the main challenges kind of arose towards the end. Everyone's tensions were kind of running high. Everyone wanted to have the best show possible. And so sometimes, we'd get on each other's nerves, but at the end we were able to resolve it. We realized that the entire point of the show was to make it as good as possible, and we just really worked together to make it great.
This was a wonderful show. I loved this show so much. I loved the music in the show. The saxophone and the flute were amazing. Listening backstage in the overture before I came on for the first scene was so fun. It's such great music, and I love singing some of the music, And I loved playing Spider and acting and singing and dancing. It was wonderful. This show is just amazing.
I feel like this show was very well executed. We had a lot of actors that did their best. We had a lot of crew that were learning how this works, and our pit was fantastic. So this definitely was a good show, despite the challenges.
Well, yeah, no doubt. It was a great show, definitely. And I mean, there are so many components to this show being as successful as it was. And I mean, from our two great teachers to the amazing cast to the tech crew and stage managers and the amazing parents who came out to help and everybody who supported us. I mean, without any of these components, the show wouldn't have been as successful as it was. I can't wait to do more work with all of these amazing people, especially for The Little Mermaid, and I know it's going to be even greater, and I just can't wait to see what's in store for that.
This production actually went really well, to my surprise. The cast and the crew, in the end, we all brought it together, and we had a very good show in the end. I loved it. I had a bunch of fun doing it. I'm sad that it's over.
However, it's a learning process for everyone, and overall, shows can be fun to work, to act in, and to see. And I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's thinking about it. James and Giant Peach was a great show.
I feel like it was a big success and that we did really well.
Overall, it was a good show because the audience seemed to really enjoy it. And even if we saw some little things that weren't exactly how they were supposed to be, the beauty of theater is that the audience didn't know anything about them. So I think that overall, James and Giant Peach was a super fun experience, and that hopefully the audience really enjoyed it.
As far as the show, I thought it went really well. We didn't quite have enough time to really work through all of the show as much as we would have wanted to, but I think especially towards the later show dates, we really had pieced it together quite well. All the leads were really amazing in both casts. And yeah, I think I'm really happy that this is my first high school production, and I think it was great.